welcome into Windham High School. It is senior night for the Windham Eagles. Probably the earliest senior night. You don't see that very often. Where two teams
usually right at the end.
On the end of the road.
Yeah.
And it is the MBR Game of the Week presented by OA, Experience in Motion. Of course, OA's Ortho Access Clinic in Portland is Maine's first urgent care walk-in clinic for immediate assessment and treatment of sports and activity-related injuries. Open 6 days a week. For hours, visit orthoaccess.com. Matt Beltwell, Mike Haley with you here. Joe Carpini on the camera as the Bonny Eagle Scots are the visitors tonight with their next-door neighbors, the Windham Eagle. Quite a little history here, Mike.
Yes, there's quite a tradition, big rivalry. Coaches have spent a lot of time together, coaching in the Lobster Bowl, and exchanging notes on different opponents. And I look for a real tilt tonight.
I do as well. This ought to be a pretty good one. Windham seems to have righted its ship a little bit. They had a couple tough losses. They had a tough one to Portland. They had a real tough one on the road to Thornton Academy where they kind of played well. And they were a little sluggish last week against Edward Little, but they seem to come out of it and find their way through it last week as well against the Eddies.
Well, EL is improving. They have no running back. They've lost two of their best running backs, and so they had to rely on Hartley to carry the load. And people aren't stupid. If they know that one guy's all they're gonna do is throw, they'll load up, and that's what people are doing against EL.
That's exactly what's happening. And you don't get to see that very often where folks, where they get to load up against the pass in high school football, Coach.
No, and they don't have to. But Hartley's a great passer, and you give him the time and the space, and he'll pick you apart. And people are, like I said, people are teeing off on him.
Certainly are. Of course, senior night going on right now. Senior cheerleaders being honored. All sorts of seniors being honored. Also want to honor our sponsors because if not for them, we're not here. Mechanics Savings Bank broadcast booth. Oh, yes, we are in the Mechanics Savings Bank broadcast booth. It's weird. We can bring it with us wherever we go. You can visit them online at mechanicssavingsbank.com. Also want to remind you, you'll be have to stay tuned for the Moody's Collision Center collision of the game. We look for the big hit of the game, and we mark that the collision of the game. We try not to do it too early, though, because then you might miss something like, a gorilla getting hit on the field or something like that. With 11 locations in Maine, you better take it to Moody's, online at moodyscollision.com. Of course, you can find this game and links to many, many others at mbr.org, Maine's best resource for sports. Find daily scores, live and on-demand video and audio, and support your team at mbr.org, Maine's best resource for sports. Online, again, mbr.org. That's not just the brand, it's also the website, so keep that in mind.
One of the reasons, Matt, that this game may be as early as it is it's because of the bigness of the game and the closeness of the opponents, although usually when you have a game like homecoming, you try to choose the team that you think you're going to beat.
Right, yeah.
So you don't lose your homecoming.
For example, Oxford Hills against Massabesic last week.
That's right.
Yes, right, yeah.
This isn't one of those situations. This is people are here to see a good game.
Talking with Coach Mike Haley as we're getting set and ready to go. Matt Boutwell, Mike Haley with you here on the MBR Game of the Week. It is senior night in Windham. And the seniors being honored, senior cheerleaders. Apparently they weren't on a list or something, so somebody's apologizing. It's always good when the PA guy has to announce and then has to throw somebody on the bus at the same time. Oh, somebody wasn't on the list. That's what happened there. That's what happened there.
That is the way.
That is the way. Senior football players being honored right now. It's number 52, Connor Harrison, going out there. Also, Griffith Abear. No relation to Bobby, I guess. From the old, remember the old Saints quarterback?
Oh yeah,
played for the Falcons as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did. He was good too.
I haven't personally seen Bonny Eagles since a Week 2 win that they had against Scarborough, and honestly, they played fairly well in that game. But the one thing that I did notice was that they're a little more. They're not quite as. How do I want to word this without saying? They seem to be a little bit more finesse this year, I guess would be the word I'm looking for. Does that make sense? And I don't mean that as a bad thing. I mean that as just sometimes you have to play that way.
As a coach in high school, you take what comes out. You can't go out and get a guard when you need one, or another fullback, or a wide receiver, or a quarterback, like you can at the college level. You take what you have, and if you got that finesse player, use them.
Right, and that's you can't. You mean you just can't go out and get a free agent or something?
Well,
I didn't.
Some coaches through the years have tried, but they usually get spanked pretty hard by the MPA on that one.
I feel like that would be frowned upon in many establishments.
That would be the MPA no.
Yeah, I feel that would be a non sequitur for a lot of folks.
Yeah. Plus, every coach in the conference might be after your scalp too.
It is the MBR Game of the Week presented by OA, Experience in Motion. The Ortho Access Clinic is open 6 days a week. Find them online at orthoaccess.com. When you got injured on Friday nights, Coach, when you played, did you go to the hospital on Saturday? Did you wait till Monday? How did that work back in those days?
Well, we didn't play many Friday games. We played mostly Saturday. And the one thing I've always said through the years that I really love the game of football, obviously. I've spent 30 years coaching it and been in it for a long time. But, the one thing I hated about the game was that I knew that when I woke up on Sunday morning, whatever I moved was going to hurt. It didn't matter. Shoulder, leg, arm.
We're going to stand up here for the national anthem. We'll come back and tell you more about our sponsors. It's the Sunday River Brewing Company pregame show here on the MBR.org Game of the Week presented by OA. And welcome back to the Sunday River Brewing Company pregame show. Matt Boutwell, Mike Haley with you here. Joe Carpini on the camera as we get rolling here for high school football action. It's the OA Game of the Week presented by, it's the MBR Game of the Week presented by OA. I just realized the OA Centers for Orthopedics logo is right there on the Windham Eagles, their sideline trailer there. Their amphibious thing. So hopefully my camera guy sees that at some point, gives it a little focus in. He can hear us now, so at least we know that's going on. Captains are going to go meet at midfield. Windham down a couple of captains? They only usually have two, Coach Haley.
No, they have 3 or 4.
Must be down a couple.
I'm surprised they didn't go out, and stand with their other captains.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Also want to remind you tonight, when we take timeouts, it'll be a timeout for a water break. That'll be brought to you by Affordable Water Treatment of Maine and Maine Radon Pro. They now provide both radon air and radon water mitigation. It's a big word. Just one call, they treat it all. Give them a call at 268-2987 or visit them online at affordablewatertreatmentofmaine.com. Also, Shots of the Sidelines tonight brought to you by Headlight Audio Visual. They'll do the work. You get the praise. They've been doing it for over 40 years. Online at headlightav.com. Opening coin toss brought to you by Maine Athletic Fundraising. Maine Athletic Fundraising, the right choice for your fundraising needs. No risk, no upfront costs, no minimums. Find out how they can help you reach your fundraising goals today at maineaf.com. That's maineaf.com. Coin flip is up. And it looks like Bonny Eagle has won the toss, and they will defer, which means Windham will be receiving the opening kick here on senior night. Again, that opening coin toss brought to you by Maine Athletic Fundraising. Windham will be going right to left on your radio dial. Bonny Eagle going left to right. Bonny Eagle in the green and white uniforms, kind of looking like Michigan State. Windham looking like a little bit like like Boston College a little bit.
That's not Michigan State. That's Michigan.
No. Well, the helmets are Michigan, but the colors are Michigan State.
You know where the helmet came from? When I was at Maine, that was our helmet. And Pete Cooper, who coached at Lawrence, took that with him. And Lawrence still uses it. And Kevin played at Lawrence. And when he became the coach at Bonny Eagle, they put the shield on.
No kidding.
Yep.
No kidding.
Yep.
I did not know that.
That started at Maine.
You see,
Maine was originally coached by Dave Nelson, who was a graduate of Michigan, and all of his assistants were Michigan guys. And so when they went to Maine, they started the shield helmet, the one that the University of Michigan still keeps.
See, this is why we bring you out for these things. I wouldn't have known that otherwise. I would have had no idea. No idea.
Well, that's ancient history, see, so that's why you got me around.
Somebody's got to tell us. You know?
That's right.
NBR.org Game of the Week, presented by OA. Christian Napolitano, he's a kicker, and he'll be kicking off from the 40. Those numbers, by the way, are painted in pink. Our white balance is not wrong on the camera. Those numbers are in pink because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Napolitano awaits.
Blake Hauser.
And he will kick it back. And that is going to be fielded by number 21. That'll be Stuart Salem. And he's going to bounce out to the left side and dance out at the 31-yard line. Actually, this could be Nazari Henderson. Nazari Henderson on the carry. And Des Leslie gets the call from the sidelines, and Windham will look to get started here, just underway on the NBR Game of the Week, presented by OA.
Okay, this should be interesting.
It should be.
See how well they defend each other. I got an idea that it's going to be a close defensive game.
Do you think they start off with a run here or a pass? Because you almost want to lean it out. I mean, they get decent field position starting at their own 33.
Yeah, I know. That's
Leslie in the shotgun. He's going to send Henderson in motion from the left to the right. Snap is away, and Leslie's going to run it up the middle, and he's going to get some positive yardage. Not a ton of positive yardage, but up past the 35. We'll mark him at the 36, gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Windham had a lot of success with that play last week against Edward Little, but they didn't really discover it until after kind of messing around a little bit in the first half.
Yeah. Well, he popped 2 for touchdowns.
Right.
On that same play.
Leslie in the pistol again. Kyle Hauser is behind him. He's out to pass. That's going to be complete. Out to the sidelines. That'll be Henderson. He's going to be past the 45, out to the 48-yard line. And it's a first down for Windham. A good start here.
Yes.
For the Eagles.
Yes. That was a crisp pass. That was no loop-de-loop on that one.
Windham started off their year with a 41-8 win over Lewiston and a 37-0 victory over Bangor. Then they hit the tough part of their schedule. Talk more about that on the way. Hauser carries it off the right side. They're on the far side. He gets into Bonny Eagle territory. It'll be down to the 48-yard line. That will be a gain of 4, and it'll be 2nd and 6. 10:44 remaining in the first quarter. No score between Bonny Eagle and Windham. It's the NBR Game of the Week presented by OA.
You're right about the tough part of the schedule.
I mean, they went, when you go from Lewiston Bangor to Portland Thornton Academy,
yeah.
It's like, whoa, what happened here?
Quite a difference.
Somebody moved this from like rookie to pro really quick. 2nd and 6. Leslie back to pass throws. That was intended for Blake Hauser, but it was over his head, incomplete. Probably a good idea that it was overthrown instead of underthrown, because if it was underthrown, it probably would have been picked off, because Hauser was well covered on that one. 10:17 remaining in the first quarter. It's 6 for the Windham Eagles at the Bonny Eagle 48-yard line, just underway. I always love having the PA guy talk.
Yeah.
So, like, he can just kind of wrap things up for me, too,
Yeah,
which is
sure
nice.
he can.
It's nice. It's like having a third guy in the booth. Leslie back to pass over the middle. That is going to be complete, and a nice catch and a nice run down to the 30. Griffith Hebert. And it's a first down for the Eagles. And yes, it is Hebert, not Hebert. Hebert. If it was in Dirigo, it would be Hebert. But not here. No, not in Windham. You get to a certain line of demarcation. That's it. It's French. First and 10 now for the Eagles. Really good start to this drive. Hopefully Windham can avoid some of the penalties that have been biting them over the last couple of weeks.
Bonny Eagles in the 50 front, 52.
Hand off to Hauser. He goes right through it for a gain of 5.
They're mixing up their coverages in the secondary. They've been 4 deep. They've been 3 deep.
Does that really matter to a quarterback
Yes,
like Leslie?
Does.
It does?
Very definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I would figured maybe for like an untested sophomore maybe or something like that, but wasn't sure with an experienced quarterback like Leslie, who seems like he's been playing here for 18 years.
Well, that's who you read. So you read, you pick out one man, if it's 2 deep or 3 deep, and that tells you what receivers you're going to be looking for.
Leslie got 2 deep or 3 deep back into the sidelines there as that option went nowhere. That read option was strung out for no gain, and he took a beating on that one, and he may need to go stop by the Ortho Access Clinic tomorrow because that was he got piled on by about 6 Bonny Eagle players.
Yeah, they read that pretty well.
3rd and 5 for the Windham Eagles. That's at the Bonny Eagle 25-yard line. Got to get to the 20 for a first down. 8:50, and the clock is running in the first quarter. No score. Set a man in motion from the left to the right. Leslie's going to run it himself. Up the middle, he's going to wait for a hole, and that hole is not going to show up.
Not there.
That was a great play there. Christian Napolitano was right in the middle of it.
You're going to see, for folks who are watching, you're going to see almost every play Windham has will be in a man in motion, one way or the other. And the old saying, what does motion do? Changes the formation. So that's a reason for the motion.
Andrew Hodgman on that play as well. 4th down for the Eagles. Leslie back to pass. Looking, throws off the hands and incomplete. Hebert wasn't able to come up with that one. And Windham's promising drive stalls out at the Bonny Eagle 25-yard line. The Scots will take over going left to right, which you can already tell because it's video. Sorry, I'm used to doing radio, guys. 8:03 remaining in the first quarter. Bonny Eagle, Windham, no score on the MBR Game of the Week, presented by OA. I want to thank everyone who tuned in for the pregame show. Pregame show brought to you by the Sunday River Brewing Company. Find their beer, breakfast, and dinner menus at SundayRiverBrewingCompany.com. They're open 7 days a week starting at 6. Run up the middle, and that is going to be a big gainer for Bonny Eagle. Out to the 41-yard line. That was Cam Taberge. Quick little pass there.
Now, you're going to see a similar... You're going to see a similar offense. It looks like.
And we're just going to see a faster version of it, it looks like.
Yeah, they'll run a little different.
Day in the shotgun is going to hand it off. That's going to be Alex Sprague who runs it up the middle, and he's going to be just shy of a first down. Gain of 9, and it'll be 2nd and 1. I'll tell you what, 2nd and 5 is great and all, but 2nd and 1 is much better to be to be dealing with when you're running an offense like this, and they continue to hurry to the line. Day ready to go. Moves his players around. He's got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He's going to pass it over to the left. That's going to be Taberge, and he is not going to get anywhere. He's going to get wrapped up. Hauser in the middle of that, along with Hebert, and it'll be 3rd and short. It'll actually be a loss of 1 on that pass play. Don't see that very often on a pass play. Be 3rd and 2. 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. No score between Bonny Eagle and Windham. It's the MBR Game of the Week presented by OA. Day calling out the signals in the pistol. Handoff. And that is going to get the first down inside the 30-yard line, down to the 29-yard line. Sprague got 3 yards there. Got what he needed.
Yep. Both teams have moved the ball pretty well, haven't they?
Certainly have.